Hello, everyone. Welcome to our monthly Zazenkai. We'll continue our look at the Genjo Koan later. Today is a most auspicious day for our Sangha, as next morning or tonight, depending on where you are, we will be having our ordination for eight new Unsui priest trainees. I hope if you can, you will look in on that later. It's a time for, it's like one of those things like weddings when the whole mishpucha, the whole family gets together. You know what I mean? So glad to have you here. Lovely to see you, Jinkan. I see you've changed your Dharma name to iPhone. Very good. Andrew, Kumo, Pam. Kumo, it's nice to see you actually moving. You're usually just that little photo in the corner, the mysterious Kumo. Good to see you here today. And of course, Shonin. It wouldn't be a party without Shonin. And Bion is in charge, and Naiko's here too, and all the folks at home and ships at sea. Lovely. All right. If you've been here before, you know what to do. And if it's your first time, just follow along. Now, one thing, my back is still bad. I'm doing standing vows. I won't be prostrating, so I'm with all of you who are falling apart like me. And for other things, just do what the body allows. Okay? This I'm going to be doing with the Zagu what we call the Jinkan move. It was Jinkan's invention. It's a kind of you raise the Zagu. If the mountain won't come to the Zagu, you know what I mean. Okay, let's go. Almost forgot. Okay, it's going to yell at me.
Makahanya haramita shingyo Andi saiba satsugyo jin Anya haramita jisho Gengo Ankai kudo isai shiki furi kuku furi shiki shiki soku ze kuku soku ze shiki ju soryo shiki yaku bunyo se shari shi se shofu sofu shofu metsu fuku shofu sofu genze koku shuru shiki muju sogyo shiki mugen ibi se shin ibi shiki shokomi soku mugen kai ai shibu ishiki kai mumyo yaku mumyo jin ai shibu oshi yaku oshi jin mukushu metsudomushi yaku mutoku imusho poko odai satae hanya hara mita koshin ukege ukege kome ukufu anri isai tendo musoku kyode ansanse shobutsude hanya hara mita koku anokutara sanyaku sanbo dai kochi hanya hara mita tedai jinshu tedai nyoshu tenu joshu tenu doshu nojo isai ku jinjitsu fukoto setsu hanya hara mita shusoku setsu shuvatsu gyate gyate hara gyate haraso gyate bodhiswaka hanya shingyo. The identity of relative and absolute. The mind of the great sage of India is intimately conveyed west and east, while human faculties are both wise or dull in the way there are no northern or southern ancestors. The subtle source shines clear in the light, the branching streams flow in the dark. To be attached to things as primordial illusion, to encounter the absolute not yet enlightenment. All spheres, every sense and field intermingle even as they shine alone, interacting even as they merge, yet keeping their places and expressions of their own. Sights differ primarily in shape and characters, in sound, in harsh and soothing tones. The dark makes all words one, the brightness distinguishes good and bad phrases. The four elements return to their true nature as a child turns to its mother. Fire is hot, water is wet, wind moves and the earth is dense. Eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste, the sweet and sour, each independent of the other, like leaves that come from the same root. And though leaves and root must go back to the source, both root and leaf have their own uses. Light is also darkness, but do not think of it as darkness. Darkness is light, do not see it as light. Light and darkness are not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind and walking. Each thing has its own being, which is not different from its place and function. The relative fits the absolute as a box and its lid. The absolute meets the relative like two arrow points that touch in midair. Hearing this, simply perceive what is, make no criterion. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even if you walk upon it. Walking forward in the way, you draw no nearer, progress no further. One who fails to see this truth is mountains and rivers away. Listen, those who would perceive the subtle matter. Live well your time by night and day. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reciting the heart of the perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, honored one, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Eihei Dogen, honored one, Soshi Keisan, honored one, all successive honored ones up until Suigaku Rempo, honored one, and Guru Wafu, honored one, to all other honored ones throughout history, same yet diverse honored ones whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace, and wisdom pervades the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all the families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts and actions be dispelled and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. When we all realize and live the enlightened way together, all Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattva, Maha, Prajna, Paramita.
Zazen? Kinhin. Zazen? We will have a long Kinhin. During long Kinhin, you can walk Kinhin, you can drink some tea, take it easy for a bit, right? Stay cool, it's very hot, at least some places. Huh? We will have a talk followed by Zazen. Please make yourself comfortable. You can sit Zazen during the talk or drink some tea, recline, do anything except fall asleep, although I know my talks, it's very tempting, and no checking of Facebook, that kind of thing. We welcome Yakshim, who unbelievably you bicycled here in the sun. It's truly hotter than Mexico. Yeah. Oh. Be careful going home today, okay? I'll drive you if you need. Okay. We will have the verse to, oh, thank you. Tea and coffee. That's like suspenders and a belt, which I have actually.
Transatlant.
I have a belt and a belt. Okay, let me get down here. You may notice, because of the heat, I have changed to a Roxu. I want you all, wherever you are, if it's very hot, take care these days. Okay, we will have the verse to open the sutra. One second. Would you do me a favor? Could you push the button on the speaker there? It went off for some reason. There's a power button, yeah. Is it on? Just give it a push. No, the other one. Other one. No, other side. Yes, that's it. That's good. Very good. If you've started to be on, start again.
The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this, but we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this, may we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this, when we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Lovely, lovely. You'll notice Bjorn has developed a German accent. That's actually Kote, who is beaming in from the other world today to be our Ino. Can everyone hear okay? All right. This series is on Dogen's Genjo Koan as the key to Dogen's Zen, but I also really want to say that this is a key to an amazing way of living with wisdom and balance. And this should not be something abstract or from hundreds of years ago, something talking about another world. This is about how we should live right now, where we are. And I hope when I'm done today, you get a little sense of that. Dogen, as we discussed last time, I think wrote this letter to one of his lay followers who I suspect, because of the topics he touches on, may have suffered a loss in his family. But Dogen is talking about much more than that, and his wisdom applies to all the difficulties and ups and downs we face in life. And why is that? Well, some of that, which I would say is kind of unique, not unique, very special for Dogen, maybe in Buddhism, is his vision of what is Buddha, what is enlightenment. And let me explain briefly, though nothing I ever say is brief. Nothing I ever say. Some people have the image, of the Buddha as this great golden statue, this perfect being that maybe 16 feet tall in the temple, and we bow. Or this man who lived in India, and somehow we get the sense that he was perfect, beyond all anger, beyond all sadness, beyond all fault. Or maybe there is a cosmic Buddha, somehow this great otherworldly super being in the sky, this other perfect being. And there's also the whole universe, of course, is Buddha. And what I'd like to say is, for Dogen, Buddha was also what we do right now. Because we bring enlightenment, we bring Buddha to life through our choices, through our actions here. And we also can bring the devil to life if we make some bad choices and do some bad things. So Dogen had a sense that this whole reality is a wholeness, all interconnected. I don't want to take that away. That's true, and that's a kind of perfection. It's the perfection of this great symphony that is this universe, or universes upon universes, that whatever it is where we find ourselves, there's a great musical beauty, harmony. I'm just looking out at my garden here, and it's right before my eyes. This is true. This is true. And Dogen did respect the man in India 2005 years ago. And we have these great images of great golden Buddhas, I think, that represent the ideal of what we should shoot for, these stories of these great beings, kind of a symbol of the direction we should go, who we should hope to be. They represent the best, our ideal. But down here, we're living Buddhas, caught in this complicated world. And that is what Dogen is writing about, I think, in these passages today. Let me start. These are, again, my translations, so you can blame me. These first lines from Dogen are, Buddhas are those with great understanding of the nature of delusion. Alas, confused beings are those who are greatly deluded about the nature of enlightenment. How to put this in simpler terms? There are people in this world filled with anger, greed, ignorance. They're so caught up in it, that's all they know. They can't see beyond it. That's what they're living. Their anger is righteous. Their greed is strangling them, but they keep going with it. They're drowning in this world of jealousy and grief and wanting to just be happy and wanting to win and all the, they're lost in the jungle here. The Buddha is down here in the jungle with all of us, but sees through it and somehow is not trapped by it all. Buddhas are those with a great understanding of the nature of delusion, even in this world of delusion, you see. It's like you ever see kids fighting or your relatives fighting, the Thanksgiving dinner, my Uncle Stanley would get into it with my Uncle Arnold about something that happened 30 years ago. And that the story I'm telling actually happened 30 years ago because they've both gone long ago. But 30 years ago, they would sit there at these dinners and get into some fight about something, who was right, who was wrong, 30 years before. They would end up not speaking to each other. And you've been to this dinner, right? And you sit there and you go, what are they fighting about? What is this? It was so long ago. Get rid of it, guys. What's going on? You're kind of seeing through what they're caught in, right? Well, a Buddha is in this world of all the things on the news, all the tragedy, all the war, all the people fighting, and kind of sees through it, maybe to this great wholeness that is the backlight shining through. Now, that doesn't mean, according to me, that you need to be a perfect being. And this is where I get in trouble. I don't think that fellow 2,500 years ago, if you had met him, was made of gold. I think probably, we don't know because it's a long time lost in the fog of history, and we just have these stories that people, our heroes, the stories get polished up and polished up and polished up for thousands of years. So we lose the humanness there sometimes. But shining through the words of Buddha and even Dogen, when you read his words, it wasn't a perfect being. It was a very, very beautiful, wise human being. So I don't care, and I don't expect if Buddha ever got up on the wrong side of the bed, even though they didn't sleep in beds. And I don't care if Dogen sometimes had what we call a bad hair day, even though he had no hair. But they were very wise, very good people, which is what we should all shoot to be, and which I think is attainable by all of us, even if we're not perfect 24/7. Ask my kids and my wife. I'm certainly not perfect 24/7, maybe 7/24. I come close. I don't even think that. But anyway, confused beings are those who are greatly deluded about the nature of enlightenment. Confused beings are ones who think enlightenment is this perfect state I will reach, and I will never have a problem in the world. Everything will suddenly make sense. I will realize that I will always be happy, and every time I go in the store, they will have my flavor of ice cream, whatever it is. Okay? That is a diluted version of enlightenment. On the other hand, for Dogen, I think, to be in this complicated world and see the light shining through to the wholeness, to the balance, to the symphony that is playing, even as for some people it's just noise. If you can hear the symphony of it all, see the light shining through and as the stormy days too, you have a better sense of enlightenment. Enlightenment is not always being in San Diego, blue skies every day. That would actually be kind of boring. Sorry, folks in San Diego. Geika, sorry, she's actually in San Diego. To have rain, to have clouds, to have snow, to have hail, to have heat, to have cold. This is how our world is, and the world would not be the world without it. And to find the balance there, hopefully we keep it in balance and we don't end up like Venus or Mars, don't get me wrong. But this world, there's a certain beauty and balance to this universe. And when we can see that through all the changing weather of life, then we are not the confused beings who are greatly deluded about the nature of enlightenment. We can see the enlightenment even in the dark, like that. And it's not a frozen process. It's not something like, oh, I'm enlightened, I'm done. Where's the key? I'm out of here. Not like that. It's an ongoing practice for Dogen. Choice by choice, day by day, you can act like Buddha 1 minute and a fool or the devil the next. Life is not stagnant, thank you, because we do not live in a picture. This is not a frozen block of ice. Life is changing, vibrant. Every day is a new something. And this is why the world keeps turning and why we have life, you see. So Dogen says, moreover, because life is not stagnant, so a Buddha must continue to realize realization upon realization upon, oh, a little ignorance snuck in there. Oh, bad hair day. Wait, let me get back to it. Realization upon realization upon realization, you see. It's not a you're done, you once and you're done kind of thing. Well, ordinary folks just fall into delusion after delusion after delusion after delusion. You see? And you know it. I bet you've all tasted it, especially you folks who have been around life for a while. You have those moments where you go, uh-oh, I'm not handling this so well. I've fallen into the trap of some jealousy, some ignorance. I'm more grieving than I need to be because I know tomorrow will be a sunny day. I'm happy now, but I don't expect it to be that way. But for some reason I want to be. You know when you're you're wrong, okay? But I bet a lot of you know that, hey, wait a second, I'm in a situation now. This is a situation where I could fall into a trap, but hey, I'm handling this with some wisdom, with some balance and compassion. You kind of can judge it for yourself. I'm handling this situation badly because I'm also fighting now with Uncle Stanley and Arnold. You know, I've fallen into the thing. Or I'm sitting there with wisdom as the world is in, shall we say, spinning wildly around me. You know it when you experience it, you see. So our teaching from Dogen is try to be the good way as much as possible. Even if it's not possible, maybe always to be that way in this life. Try to be wise and see the light through the clouds as much as possible. Don't expect to be a golden Buddha who's once and done. Okay? Let me have a sip of my tea and my coffee here. 1 second. Okay. Now, what does it mean to be a Buddha? You get a card from the Buddha's Union and it says on it, authorized Buddha? Do you suddenly sprout long earlobes and curly hair and turn golden skin and the wheels on your feet like in the statue? Some people think so. But I would say, according to Dogen and many of it, you don't have to even call yourself Buddha. You don't have to be a Buddhist. You don't even have to live in Japan or Tibet. You don't even have to be a member of the Buddhist religion. When you act with wisdom and compassion like Buddha, or anyone does, there is Buddha. So thus, Dogen says, Buddha doesn't need to note she is Buddha. Notice I changed the pronoun there. They, she. Yeah, I'm not trying to be political about it. Really, Buddha is anyone, is what I mean, who acts good, gently, beautifully, with wisdom and compassion. Buddha doesn't need to note she is Buddha. Nevertheless, Buddhas are just living Buddhas who keep on living Buddha by bringing Buddha to life. Dig it. Bjorn, we got to get a song with that, right? Buddhas are just living Buddhas who keep on living Buddha by bringing Buddha to life, which is what you do when you act with the wisdom and compassion of a Buddha. Corollary, Devils are just living devils who keep on living evil by bringing the devil to life. Hallelujah. I sound like a Mississippi preacher, but you know what I mean. We believe in, bad conduct too. Okay. Now, Buddha also knew many sides of Buddha. Don't get me wrong. Buddha, for us Zen folks, is not just a one-faced person or being. First off, as I just said, it's all your faces. When you act like Buddha, Buddha is literally all your faces. And when you act like the devil, little horns appear and a tail. I'm telling you. Okay? On all of you. We had Kinhin here with her 1,000 hands. I also said too, that's an aspect of Buddha. When you act with compassion, her 1,000 hands are your hands. When you pick up a stone or a weapon, those are also your hands too. Like that. But the other face of Buddha is this face that is the whole thing, the whole dance, the whole symphony, which you are too, one of the notes. You're a note in the symphony, which is the whole symphony, my friend. Your life is one vibration of the string in the violin section, which is the music itself. Okay? So we also have this aspect of Buddha, which is the whole symphony, which is all of us too. And we're not just separate beings. There's no such thing as a vibration of the string that is separate from the music. There is no such thing as a separate note. Being the vibration, the note is the whole music poured into that one note, poured into that one vibration, poured into you. And Dogen had a sense that the whole music dance is pouring in and out of each one of us too. When we feel separate from all of reality, it's vital that we realize it's not so. And I think when Dogen was writing to his friend here, or his student who lost someone, he might have been trying to say, your son or your wife or whoever passed, their note is over. And we're sad. It was a beautiful note. That person's note has passed. But the music is continuing. And as long as the music continues, where have they gone? Like that. So our practice is to realize our separateness and live well, but also to realize that we're this whole thing, you see? So then Dogen says, when one sees the forms or hears the sounds of the world fully and wholly with body and mind, and I added in parentheses, these are more my words, free of judgment, free of separating mental categories, transcending me, my, mine, you, your, yours. When one sees the forms or hears the sounds of the world fully and wholly with body and mind, free of judgment, free of mental categories, transcending me, my, mine, one intimately understands without separation. It's that moment when you get lost in the music. You ever been at a concert and you're listening to the music, the musicians are playing on the stage, and then you're just totally swept in. Literally a rave, man. It's a rave without needing to take ecstasy. Though I think that does it for some people too. That's not that I'm encouraging that. I'm just saying, when you get swept into the music and you become the music and your dance moves on the floor, which, by the way, if you see me, I've been one of these people. I thought I was dancing great, Oh man, I just got, and then later, I saw a video of me dancing and it looked more like this. You know, it doesn't, when you're swept in, man, and you just think your dancing is you're the music is you, you realize that you're the whole thing, right? Then it is not like some object and its reflection in a mirror, and it is unlike the moon and its reflection in distant water, whereby one side is illuminated and the other side is left in the dark. Little footnote here. When I translated this, I looked closely at the Japanese and I looked at every English translator, and mine is a little different. And from the grammar reading, I don't think I'm wrong, and I don't want to say everyone else is wrong. But theirs says more, it is like the object and its reflection in the mirror. And it is like the moon and its reflection in the water. Let me just explain this. But the point is exactly the same as I'm making from those other people, and it has to do with the next sentence. We think that everything is apart, right? The moon's up there, the water's down here. There's a thing over there and it's reflected in the mirror over there. Or I'm here and Bion is over there in Spain, right? But really we just taste such a wholeness that all the separation disappears. It is not like where one side is illuminated and the other side is left in the dark. There's a wholeness to it. And the reason it doesn't really matter is this. Dogen said in another section of Genjo Koan we'll get to, that the moon's up there, but the moon is reflected in every blade of grass, every bead of dew, every ripple of the water. So even though it looks separate, it's not. The things that look like they're reflected in the mirror are actually inside the mirror. So the appearance of separation is actually the wholeness. The moon that appears to be up in the sky is actually fully held in each blade of grass, drop of dew, ripple of the water. You, of course, are a separate being from me, but yet we're all, look at this, on a single screen. Hey, we got a special effect here we can use. Look at that. You, all of us, there's just a single screen that is all of us, even though we're separate. Something like that. The separation is the wholeness. Maybe in the future we'll say the moon in the sky, the images in the mirror, the little boxes on the Zoom screen are one. Okay? You get a sense of this. The appearance of being separate is not the whole story. So let me just read it again. When we see the forms and hear the sounds of the world fully and wholly with body and mind, one intimately understands without separation. Then it is not like some object and its reflection in a mirror. Or you could say, yes, then it is like some object and its reflection in a mirror, which is one. Yes, it is not like the moon and its reflection in distant water. Or yes, it is like the moon and its reflection fully in every dewdrop. Whereby it's not only that one side is illuminated and the other side is left dark. The light and dark are also one thing. Right? Did you see the beautiful moon we had? And it's going to repeat, they say, at the end of this month. What do they call it? Not the harvest moon.
Supermoon.
Supermoon. It was huge, right? And now the moon is again becoming smaller, there's shadows, right? The moon's not going anyplace, right? And then the moon will reappear. So the light and the dark are not two things, you see. The wholeness is one. I hope that got it. I didn't muddle that too much. And now the famous passage. How do you realize this wholeness? How do you realize the wholeness? Because we feel like little separate selves. This is Buddhism 101, basic Buddhism as expressed by Buddha, by Dogen. For to master the Buddha way is to learn the self. To learn what is the self, I think he's trying to say, to learn what the self really is. To learn who you really are is to learn the self. Who are you really? What are we really? For to master the Buddha way is to learn the self, to learn who we are, what we are really. To learn the self, to learn what we are really, is to drop the separate self from mind. To drop the separate self from mind is to be actualized by the myriad things, by the endless things of this world, by the whole universe. You find that you are that is you. I get to repeat my favorite, I'm going to trademark this, my Genjo analogy that I bring in every month. The tree is you standing in the garden. You right now are the tree listening to me talk. Genjo is Beyond in Japan. Beyond is Genjo in Spain. Like that. We're everything, the whole thing, and each other. To drop the separate self from mind is to be actualized by the myriad things of the world. When actualized by the myriad things, myriad means all the things, the countless things, one's body and mind, one's own body and mind, as well as the bodies and minds of others drop away. The separation, the division drops away. And you might say, enlightenment. And Dogen says, first off, it's so whole, even the word enlightenment. Let's get rid of that too. What do we need that word for? You don't label something that's beyond names. You don't put a category on something that's beyond categories. That's how whole it is. So he says, in such intimacy, such wholeness, no trace even of the word enlightenment, no, the idea of enlightenment remains. We don't need it. And this no trace continues endlessly. See? Endlessly. And it has been since the beginning of time, and it will be to the end of time, and it's even, there must be something timeless to it, something beyond time to it. But whatever it is, it's on and on, continuing endlessly. And this is you. This is the symphony that kind of has no end, I guess. Beautiful symphony. Even though your little vibration, your little note, I'm sorry to say, it comes for a moment and then it's gone. But the symphony which you are, it keeps playing, you see. And maybe, I don't know, maybe a later act, our vibration comes back. I don't know. That's something we can leave for another time. But we are the music, and as long as the music keeps playing, we keep playing. Now again, Dogen also had the other side of enlightenment. He said, just realizing this wholeness is not the whole story. Then we got to go back to where we started today. It's also how we live. Some people think that if you realize the wholeness beyond separation, you're done. That's Buddhism. You're finished. And we Zen folks tend to say, there's a nice little saying, that's only 80%. which means it's half-baked. It's not the complete. What's the rest of enlightenment? Going back to where we started. How you live, the choices you make, bringing the Buddha to life is the other rest of it. You don't get this realization and then turn around and become an SOB, son of the Buddha. What did you think I meant? You don't get this realization, turn around and start pillaging and robbing banks. That's not going to make you an enlightened pillager and pirate. We get this realization, that's important, the wholeness of it all, but also how we live. That's the rest. That's it. That's all I got. Bjorn, I can't see the full screen right here, but if anybody has a question raising their hand or anything, Bjorn, will you kind of be a moderator? And if you don't even have a question, will you at least think up one? Because I love to use the Zoom. I like to chat with folks. Think up something. Pretend you understood or did not understand something so you could ask a question. If you understood, huh?
Switch to gallery view.
I'm over here.
But okay, yeah, true. Forget it.
Yeah. No. You got the moderator. You're the moderator, right? I gave you co-moderator, right? A co-host. You can do it.
I tried. It doesn't work for you. You click buttons.
Okay. Would you? You know how to do it? There.
I think I know how to do it.
It's up in the upper right corner.
Upper right corner.
Yeah. Gallery view. There we go. Oh, there's everybody. Hi, guys. Hi. That was a trick. If you just raised your hand, you have a question. What's your question, Daryl?
Well, it's not really a question, but I like the fact that you know, in your book that Dogen said that you don't have to be Buddha or and he was going on and on about it, but I like not labeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think, for example, Dogen, we get glimpses of Dogen in the Shobo Genzo, and these are only small words he left us. We don't know what it was actually like to live with the guy. I got a hunch sometimes he was not the kind of guy easy to live with, But those monks, they had no choice. They were in the snow in Echizen. They could, if they left, they had no place to go. Gotta live with what life gives you. And that was probably Dogen. And Dogen, I think, was an amazingly wise, compassionate guy who every once in a while in his words, you can tell, he's a little grumpy, like all of us sometimes, or he's a little upset about something. There's some problem in the Sangha. It's very human. It's okay. It's okay. As he says in the Tenzo Kyokun about cooking, it's one meal at a time. And we just do the best we can with every meal. And sometimes we're still going to burn the rice, or sometimes the soup is going to be cold because it just happens. And you know what happens? You accept it. You might not like it. Part of you might not like it. I don't like my, burnt rice, but you live with it. And then the next meal, you try to make a beautiful meal so that not burn the rice like that, So I think it's a much wiser way to live than seeing, that life is frozen and always has to be cotton candy and ice cream like that. What do you think, Ross? What's the image of Buddha in the Chinese temple where you attend? They discuss what is Buddha. What's the image of Buddha?
The image of Buddha. What do you mean when I talk to the monks there?
The monks or just the community? What do you people think Buddha is?
To be honest, they've got quite a down-to-earth approach to it. I think it's not massively different from the things you say for the temple I go to anyway. They kind of just see the Buddha as an example of how we can try live our life and things like that, not as anything, this amazingly godlike sort of thing, to be honest. I know there's probably monks in China who would have this kind of different view, but yeah, it's kind of just an example for us to try, help us live our life, really.
Very good. Very good. Well, I've already put two people on the spot, so I'm not going to do that anymore. But anybody else have any pressing question before we get on to our Bono Dory? Yes, Keith, or a comment? Yes?
Just a comment. The just the imagery of the moonlight reflecting in every dewdrop is so beautiful and profound, and I'm just, it's the only thing I really want to think about right now. That's just so bloody lovely. That's it.
I'm with you too. That's my favorite passage of Dogen, I think for many people too. Anything else before we go? I'm going to tell now. Yes, Daryl.
I had a question. Okay, I was reading. This is a little off topic, but still contains the Dogen. I was reading Shobo Genzo Z Monkey. And I had a question to ask you, teacher. I was wanting to know if you can talk about 213. Dogen also said
213. You better tell me what that is. I don't have the Zway Monkey memorized, I'm afraid. Which one is that?
Basically, he said, even according to secular morality, when changing clothes, sitting or lying down in a place where no one can see you, or in a dark room following to hid, what should be hidden have no. And then, like, basically, I don't know what he meant by that.
You got to say it again.
He said, even according to secular morality, when changing clothes, sitting or lying down in places where no one can see you, or in a dark room following to hid, one should be hidden, having no property, or I think it says criticized as being shameless before the divas and demons. Yeah.
Okay, I think he's just basically saying, even in the non-monk world, you should act good even when no one's looking. Yeah.
Oh,
So don't
okay.
only, we all have the tendency when people are around, to try to, put on our church face. But even when no one's around, you should try to be, and no one's looking at you, you should try to be a decent, good, gentle person. Maybe that's what he means.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
And by the way, Zway Monkey is an interesting book because that's where you really see the many sides of Dogen. He was like the coach to these monks, and sometimes he's giving pep talks and he's talking like locker room, giving a locker room, rah, let's go get the morale up. And sometimes he's dealing with, you can hear there's he's trying to settle some problem in the monastery. And there are even sides of there where I don't particularly like Dogen. There's one section I talked about my favorite section of Dogen, and I will talk about my least favorite section of Dogen, because he could, sometimes go over the top. And he told the monk, basically, even if your mom is going to starve, stay here and be a monk. And he meant that, he basically said, if your mom starves while you're here and a monk, at least still it's a good thing in the big picture of things, as opposed to leaving being a monk to take care of your old mom. I think Dogen was wrong. I think that was just the day and age when they were at. I got a hunch that when it really came down to it, maybe he wouldn't have insisted on that. But for some reason, there's a couple of sections of Zway Monkey where Dogen seems to be like, I know you were taking care of mom, and I know she's got no source of income, but you should stay here and be a monk. I think Dogen, I'm going to say it, Dogen, even sometimes Dogen, no. Bad Dogen. Okay? All right. Anything else? Okay, we're going to close the sutras, then we're going to dance Obon dance. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Obon is before we do that. But Bjorn Kote, would you put on your German accent and chant us out?
May the merits of these teachings penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient beings together may realize the Buddha's way. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha, Prajna, Paramita.
Very good. Well, it is Obon here in Japan, which is a funny thing because it's only Obon in part of Japan, because part of Japan does it in the middle of July, and then part of the rest of Japan does it in August. A long story about that, but basically Tokyo and my wife's prefecture of Kanagawa, I think they're the July folks, and we're the August folks here. Anyway, long story short, what is Obon? Another incongruity in Buddhism. So, you get reborn and you go on to the next life. But people in Japan and China didn't want to say goodbye to Grandpa completely, and they were not so crazy about him going to some other family. So they wanted to also think, this is where I think it was something from not Buddhism that came into Buddhism, that his spirit is still hanging around and comes back for a visit. Okay? Does it fit with Buddhist traditional doctrine? How can you get reborn, but you're still hanging around and come back for a visit? No. And if you ask a Japanese priest about it, they'll kind of go, oh, I don't know. Yeah. And they'll start chanting, how does this work? And they go, oh, I don't know. So it's fine. They connected it to some Buddhist story about a fellow, the Buddha encouraged him to go. This is the opposite of the Dogen story I just told. Fellow finds his mother's in hell, goes down to hell and rescues her with the Buddha's help and brings her out of hell. Okay, they connected to that story. But anyway, when it got to China and Japan, you had a tradition of ancestor worship. Your ancestors have gone, they've died, but they still are kind of hanging out, watching over the family, showing up to dinner. Uncle Arnold and Uncle Stanley still show up, and they're still fighting, okay? But really, the Japanese do these wonderful things. They take eggplant and they put toothpicks in them and put them in front of the house to look like a little horse or a cow. And this is what the dead ride to visit from the other world. And then they hang around for a couple of days and we have a party. That's what this dance is. Okay, we dance, the dance of the dead. We're all dancing together in Mexico. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
El Dia de Muerte.
Dia de Muerte.
Right? There's a similar tradition in Mexico. And then in a few days, they do a lovely thing. They send the dead back to the other world, which in some temples is done in a very beautiful way. They make little paper boats with lanterns on them, put them on the river, and these hundreds of boats drift down the river back to the other world. Okay? Anyway, what we're about to dance is La Baila de Muerte?
Danza.
The Danza de Muerte. Yeah, the Dance of the Dead, which is a happy time. Little asterisk. When you look at what this song is about, it has nothing to do with Buddhism, really. It's a song about a coal mine. They're dancing pop music. Now, it's pop music from the 1930s, but it's not supposed to be particularly Buddhist thing. It's the equivalent of that old song. Do you know that old song, 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper. It's the Japanese version of the song. It was a pop song back in the 30s. Some people have even modernized it. They're dancing now, Obon, to anime songs, recent pop songs to get the young people in. Okay? So it's not a particularly Buddhist thing. It's a square dance. It's a fun dance. Okay? Now we got these moves, which if you study the video, I'll give them to you quick. Okay? Shovel right twice, shovel left twice, over the shoulder once, over the shoulder, right? Then, hey, I'm going backwards. Hey, I'm going backwards. Push in front, safe at home. Actually, it starts with the clap, clap. You got that? Shovel once, shovel once, shovel once, shovel once, shovel. Going back, push, safe. Easy, let's do it.
By the way, the video is going to be playing on the screen, so if anyone wants to try to follow along, good luck.
Follow the people. Follow the people.
Y'all better dance.
Good old bone to everyone. Now do something in your own house to remember the ancestors. And you know, it doesn't help. Buddhist, not Buddhist, a good thing to do. Remember the ancestors. We wouldn't be here without them. Ready? Zazen. We will have a long Kinhin. We will now recite the metaverses, followed by Zazen. You can sit down, drink some tea too. I don't think there's a rule that you have to be sitting a certain way for the metaverses. You can stand. If we have any yoga people, it's okay to assume the pose you wish. It's okay. There's no rule. Ah. Oh, oh my God! Oh my God! I'm showing leg. Too sexy. What happened? Ah, what happened here? 1 second. What's happened? Yeah. We've had another famous moment in the annals of. Who's got gams? There you go. We've had another famous moment. I didn't realize this particular robe is cut up the side that way. Okay, I'll try this again. I hope I didn't shock anybody in the back row. No? Okay. Okay. Very good. It's good for a warm day. Well, since it is Obone, how about we do the Metaverse's Dearly Departed Edition? Dearly Departed Edition. Today we will specifically chant for people who have left this mortal coil, the notes that have passed but are still playing in our hearts and in the great symphony. Is there a rule that you cannot chant, you can only chant the metaverses for the living? And I'm going to give the great Japanese Soto monk answer. I don't know. And does this have any effect on people in the other realm? You know, is my Uncle Arnold and Uncle Stanley, are they still having that fight, you know, in the other world? It can't hurt. It can't hurt. At least it soothes our hearts, yes? And we learn from not to keep the hate and the greed alive for another generation. That's a good thing. And it doesn't always have to be for people who were bad people. No, many of the people who have departed, they were lovely people. We can chant for them too. So we'll just do it the normal way, but Dearly Departed Edition. Think of someone you love, your family, could be many people, who are no longer, shall we say, with us in this life. And we will chant for them. Couldn't hurt. And might be a very good thing to remember them. Okay? Let's begin though with ourselves, who are here for now. All right? We begin chanting for ourselves. Remember, this is a kind of visualization exercise. Don't just say the words, but actually kind of, you know, mean it, feel it in your heart. So I'll go slow, okay? May I be free of suffering. May I please feel safe and still. May I be free of enmity. Enmity, like the word enemy, means hate, right? Related to hate and anger. May I be free of enmity. Not free of enemies. Can't do that, you know, in a sense that you're always going to have people who there may be some friction with, but they don't have to be enemies. There doesn't have to be hate and anger. So may I be free of enmity. May I be loving. Grateful for all of it, even when they don't have my ice cream flavor. And kind. Not kind of a jerk, just kind. May I be healthy? That would be nice. And, well, you know, may I be at ease in all my ills when they happen. May I be at peace, embracing all conditions. I underline, this is the part where I say, underline the all conditions, embrace all conditions of life. Okay? Now we will chant for an ancestor, someone in the family, someone we love. Could be many people who have departed since I mentioned them, and so that they don't get mad at me and come back and haunt me tonight, I will be chanting for my Uncle Arnold and my Uncle Stanley. They were actually two great guys. Stanley was a cut-up, and Arnold, man, he had this hair, man, he looked like Frank Sinatra. One of those guys. Very smooth guy. Okay. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still wherever they are. May they be free of enmity. Whatever happened 30 years ago. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy, though I kind of think that doesn't apply. This one particularly doesn't apply anymore. But anyway, maybe in the other world, may they be healthy and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of life and death, I guess. Okay. Or the next life. Yeah, that's good. And life, may they be embracing all conditions of the next life or whatever. Okay. And now for a departed friend. Think of someone. Oh, I got somebody. I got a couple of somebodies. Old college buddies. May they be free of suffering. May they feel safe and still. One of them did not during this life. I hope he knows it in the next one. May they be free of enmity. May they be loving, grateful, and kind. May they be healthy, or whatever is in the equivalent in the other world, and at ease in all their ills. May they be at peace, embracing all conditions of all conditions. Okay, now what's the next one? Someone we barely know. How do we do this? Someone who barely know who passed. Okay, you just think of someone who barely know who passed. That's not that hard. Oh, this fellow, the actor just today I saw from, what was that? Breaking Bad. He played the old uncle in the wheelchair. He passed today. That was a great show, great character. I'll chant for him. Turns out in the real life, he played a Mexican drug lord in the show, but in real life he was a real sweetie. Yeah. Breaking Bad, great show. Yeah. So, okay, I'll chant for him. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life, which might be like a TV series. He's now in the sequel, whatever that is. Okay, anyway. Oh, now we have the difficult person, the person who is very difficult, troublemaking in this life, very troubled. We say there are no bad people, just people who are poisoned and act badly. So pick somebody and hope that in the next whatever, they're doing a little better. Let's chant with that in mind. Okay, who do I got here? So many to choose from. Okay. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity, because he wasn't in this life. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy in body and mind, because he wasn't in this life, and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of whatever comes. Okay? Now we're going to chant for all sentient beings everywhere, in living and not, as we would say in Buddhism, in the 6 realms. Those who have become back in the heavens, those who have become as back as fighting spirits, those who are hungry ghosts, those who have come back to the animal world, those in the various hells. I don't know if we take them literally, but let's chant for everyone, everywhere. Living, dead, and let's include the future too. May we be free of suffering. May we feel safe and still. May we be free of enmity. May we be loving, grateful, and kind. May we be healthy and at ease in all our ills. May we be at peace, embracing all conditions of the 6 worlds, today and tomorrow. Okay, very good. Lovely, lovely. And as I said, even though it's not the custom outside of perhaps Asian culture to celebrate Obon, I have to ask Ross. Ross, for a second, is Obon anything? I know they have the Moon Festival and stuff. Is Obon celebrated in? They have the Ancestor Festival. It's not at the same time in China, is it?
Here they have Tomb Sweeping Day in April, where they go to the ancestors' tombs and set off fireworks and clean them all up.
Okay, I didn't hear what you said. When is it?
It's in April.
Oh, in April.
There's no dancing or anything though, from what I know.
Okay, no dancing, no dancing. Yeah. But they do go out to the graves and put things and remember the deceased in April. And I guess, it's like travel seasons. The Chinese travel early, the Japanese come a little later, So everybody's not traveling at once and the airports don't get too busy. Something like that. Anyway, remember, take this opportunity, even if it's not your personal holiday or custom this week, to remember the ancestors, because we are here for them, because of them. All right. Now I'm going to ring the bell. We're going to have a short Zazen. Remember, you can sit where you are if you wish, or you can sit formally. Remember that Zazen is never a matter of time or long and short. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows. Let me get up without showing too much leg. Oh, oh, oh. Help me move this table over there. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Jan, please put on your German accent again, and we will now recite the verse of atonement. Oh, the incense. Almost forgot the incense. Wait. Oh, incense is still good. 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 All right. Good. Check. Good. Okay.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts, ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Ding, ding. Let me get from shot here. 1 second. 1 second. Let me get everybody in. All right. Well, lovely, lovely. And if you're around, and Daimon and Beyond especially, I hope you're there at 9 a.m. New York time. That is whatever time it is where you are. We have our big ordination where we welcome some new home-leaving priests. If you can be around for there, you're all the more the merrier. Come on and watch. We have a special room. You can sit with others to watch, or just watch on the screen. Daimon and Bjorn are. Oh, Daimon! I almost didn't recognize you. Losing some hair there, guy. Hey. All right, lovely to sit with you guys, and peace to you all. See you later.